This is very exciting. Our very first podcast in front of a live audience. And honestly, we're a tad nervous, I'm not going to lie. We're like, how is this actually going to work? So you're our audience, so you're going to have to bear with us.
I normally see Lesley through a screen, so it's like, oh, I can actually touch her.
So for anybody who doesn't know who we are, which is probably a lot of you, we're Ingrid and Lesley from the Declutter Hub. So most people here will know us from our podcasts, and so we've been podcasting for 7 years, which is like, we're like OG podcasters, we think. And we've got over 380 episodes, 3 million downloads. So for some reason, people like to listen to us. So let's see if we can do our stuff today. Basically, we love getting people organised and decluttered, and the types of people that we typically help are people who really struggle. So not people who are just a little bit disorganised, but people who really struggle and feel overwhelmed and feel completely stuck. So that is where we're at. And so what we've seen so much of over the years is that there's a lot of things out there, and of course we're all on social media, that are kind of, oh, just do this, just do that. And everyone's like, oh, well, that sounds like a really good idea. So today's talk is really about busting through some of those decluttering myths and trying to help you to find alternatives to those. So are we going to sit down, Ingrid?
Yeah, and let's do that in a minute, because we're going to do we're going to bust 6 myths. I can't say myths very well. We did a little rehearsal this morning. I'm like, Lesley, I don't think I can say myths, actually.
I said myths just to
myths.
actually.
Yeah. So we're going to do 4 decluttering myths and 2 organizing myths. So why don't we indeed sit down, Lesley?
Yes,
and then start with the 4 decluttering myths. Right. Let's do this.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You're listening to the Declutter Hub podcast, bringing you tried and tested, no-nonsense tips and advice from the leading experts in decluttering and organising your home. Now here are your hosts, Ingrid Jansen and Lesley Spellman.
Hello and welcome, listeners. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Lesley. Now, if you're here for the very first time today, or you've been listening in for ages, we want to say a huge thank you. And we have a little favour to ask.
If you like what you hear, be sure to hit that follow or subscribe button, share us with your friends, or leave us a review. It makes a huge difference to us. So, the first decluttering myth we want to talk about is, and we hear it all the time, if in doubt, throw it out. Wow. That sounds so easy, doesn't it? You haven't worn it. Just throw it out. Just get a skip, throw it out. If you're not sure about it, you haven't worn it, just get rid of it. Get rid of it. We hear it all the time, everywhere.
But we want to take a moment to really think about what that would look like, because if it's just a decision to, if in doubt, throw it out, what that means is you've not given it much thought. And we're all about your connection to stuff. We're about emotions, not clutter. We want you to look at why is it that this item is so difficult to let go of? Don't just throw it out, evaluate it, learn from it, and so you can look at that the next time and go, actually, I remember having that feeling before, and this is the decision that I made. There are so many things that come into play when you're evaluating whether or not to keep something, things like emotions, memories, the practicality of it, the timing of it. So it's really important for you to just take a moment and breathe and think about it, and don't just make a quick decision to chuck something out just because you've not looked at it for 6 months. Really, really important.
Yeah, you don't need to push yourself. You don't have to be ruthless. You don't have to go, well, this is the day, and this is the day I'm going to let it go. And I now need to make all of the decisions all at once. That's not necessary. You need to take time to go through your items. By the way, can I just do a quick check? Can everybody hear us? Because I know I am super loud, as always.
Yeah, can they hear me? That's
can they hear? Can you hear Lesley?
Yeah, even if you didn't have a mic on, you'd be able to hear Ingrid.
Okay, thanks, audience. That's really good to know. Thank you.
So really what we want to say, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more later, is decluttering is a muscle. You have to build up that decluttering muscle. So we need to think about stuff before we make these decisions. So what we're going to say is, if in doubt, don't throw it out. So let's turn it on its head. So if in doubt, don't throw it out, evaluate, take some time.
Yes.
So we're going to jump on to myth number 2. Shall I say myth, Ingrid?
Yeah, you say myth.
I'll say myth.
Decluttering just takes 10 minutes per day. Just 10 minutes. You need 10 minutes per day, and then you're going to be decluttered for the rest of your life. That is definitely a myth, isn't it? I see the audience nodding. They're like, yeah, if it only were that simple, Lesley. 10 minutes. Great.
I know. I think we want it to take 10 minutes a day. So when people tell us that it's going to take 10 minutes a day, we want that quick fix, don't we? We want to break it down and make it super simple. And when you get to a certain stage of your decluttering journey, maybe you can just spend 10 minutes a day fine-tuning, evaluating, declutter as you go. But if you're in a position where you are very cluttered, you're very overwhelmed, there are lots of barriers or struggles standing in your way, then it is going to take a lot of effort to get there. Yes, you need to break it down. Yes, you need to look at how much time you're spending, but you're probably going to need to spend a little bit more than 10 minutes a day to make a dent. I think decluttering, it takes focus, it takes time, you need to plan, and of course you do need to break it down. But what you can do in 10 minutes a day is your resets, Ingrid.
Yes. So daily, what you need to do is you need to build in reset time. Once, twice, 3 times, depending on how busy your life is. After dinner, take 10 minutes to put that kitchen back, to put that dishwasher on, to give those kitchen counters a little wipe, to put the recycling outside. It doesn't take that long. People always see these things, it's going to take a long time, but it really doesn't if you do it on a consistent basis. 10 minutes every day, same after breakfast. Just put those breakfast bowls, and give that little table where you've been sitting having breakfast a little wipe. Couple of times a day, 10 minutes, and that will really help you to not get a massive load to do over the weekend. So you then can claw back a little bit of that time to actually go, okay, now I'm freeing up my weekend a little bit, and then I'm going to see if I can do a 30-minute, 1-hour slot of decluttering. So it's not all taken up by those daily chores. Really, really important. Resets are key. We talk about it all the time in the Declutter Hub because that is what's going to help you. It's going to be a combination of the decluttering, which is, of course, is really important if you're overwhelmed with stuff, but then to put those daily resets in, that's going to be the golden nugget, the key that's going to help you longer term.
I think one of the problems really, Ingrid, is, and the reason why this is a myth is because people get confused. So when you're looking at managing your home, people get decluttering, organising, tidying and cleaning and put it all into one kind of big, horrible chore situation. But really you need to understand which bit of it is decluttering, which bit of it is tidying, which bit of it is cleaning, which bit of it is storage. Once you get that sorted and you think, actually, what I'm focusing on now is the decluttering side of it, or what I'm focusing on now is the organising side of it, or the tidying or reset side of it, then it makes it that little bit easier. So the myth is not the 10 minutes, the myth is that it's the decluttering piece that's 10 minutes. And so the reality is that 10 minutes a day is your maintenance, your resets, your tidying, not the decluttering side of it, which is going to take that little bit longer.
Right. Let's go on to myth number 3. And I have a feeling Lesley and I are going to get on our soapbox about this one, because we see it all the time. If you are unsure of what to do with something, put it in a box, close it, and put a date on it for 6 months later. And then if you haven't opened the box in 6 months looking for this item, after 6 months, just pick up the box and throw it away. You've not needed this stuff, so you don't have to look into it again. Oh my gosh, how often? Everywhere. Just put it in the 6-month box. And we're like, what is this whole 6-month situation? Why are people doing this? This is like great. I'm getting irate already. Can you see my face? I'm like, my heart's like going, can somebody stop with this 6-month nonsense?
I know, because by putting it into the 6-month box already, you're already thinking that it's, am I going to keep it? Am I not going to keep it? And so what you need to do is spend some time at that time that you're thinking about putting it in the 6-month box, and really evaluating at that moment and looking at what is it that's causing me a struggle, what barrier am I facing, all those kind of things. It's a recipe for disaster to put something away in a loft with some kind of arbitrary date on it. Who said 6 months? who said a year, who said 3 months, a month, whatever that might be. Why should we be decluttering based on date? We need to be decluttering based on what we feel inside. We need to delve a little bit deeper. We need to not just look at things on a superficial level, but go a little bit deeper to try and understand what's going on inside. And the problem is, of course, if it's in that box, in the loft, in the basement, wherever you decide to put that box with the date on it, it's out of sight. So how can you ever evaluate as you're going along whether or not you're going to need that? Because you don't have an opportunity to use it because it's out of sight, out of mind in a box. And so, honestly, this whole 6-month box thing really bothers me as a professional organiser.
Yeah.
We've got loads of professional organisers in the audience. I can see them all like, yeah, I know, with the box and everything. Isn't it just like the worst advice ever? But anyway.
Yes.
But yes, so that is definitely a myth. It just delays those decisions, lets your guilt pile up. Arbitrary dates just do not work. All they do is hide the problem, and it's still there waiting for you when you open that box.
Yeah, for sure. Because if it's out of, like Lesley said, out of sight, out of mind, you completely forget about it. And then you're going to open that box, right? You're not going to just, I've had friends of mine who were like, Ingrid, we moved house 8 years ago, and there's still boxes in my garage that I haven't opened. And I think I'm just going to one day just drive to the tip, to the recycling center, and I just went, oh, you can't do that. Because you don't remember what's in there. We are going to, because we're going to feel guilty, because we're going to forget what we put in that box, right? And we're going to feel guilty, and we're going to be worrying about it, and then you're going to have this, it's gone. I don't know where it was in that box, remember, that we threw out. And then you never know. Open those boxes, put the stuff in where you currently will look for it, and then when you see it, you can go, actually, I actually have not used that. And then at some point you can go, right, is it time to let it go? Is it time for me to keep it because I need it? And then you can just feel much calmer about those decisions. I think being in control of decluttering is all about feeling calm and in control, about you taking the right decisions for you, for your life, for your situation. So, yeah.
My brain's not working well with this live situation. Because I know I should be listening to you, so I know what I'm going to say next. But I'm looking around.
I know.
There's Crystal, there's Joe, there's Angela, there's Trisha.
I know.
Just looking at everybody.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I'm
going to go back and say hello,
lights
everybody.
I know. It's like everything's going on.
Nice. Wouldn't it be nice if we were in front live
Normally
every
I
week?
just see you all the time, and I know how you look like, so I can do loads of things
I'm just
at
saying
the
they're
same
a little
time.
bit more interesting than you.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest. Not seen them
thanks.
for a while. But anyway.
380 episodes later, but that's good to know. You are a lot
I know,
more
it's very
interesting.
distracting, very
Yeah,
distracting.
yeah.
But anyway, we shall go on to myth number 4. This is another decluttering myth, and one that we really want to talk about, because start in the room that's bothering you the most. So our minds take us, when we think about decluttering, we're like, do you know what? This is my time, I'm going to start decluttering my house. We automatically go to the worst place, whether that's a room of doom, a dumping ground in the spare bedroom, or sentimental items that have been bothering us, or digital it might be. You know, all of the things, we think about those things first because that's the thing that we worry about, right? So our minds are taking us to the things that we're like, we've been stalled because we don't like the idea of decluttering. We think about the difficult things. That's where our mind takes us. That's where we think we need to start first. It might be difficult emotionally, so it might be a difficult room like sentimental, like photographs, all of those kind of things. We like the idea of it, but it's very, very difficult. Or it might be difficult logistically because it's kind of like a room of doom, and we've all got one of those or had, well, we haven't actually got one. We haven't actually got a room of doom, because that wouldn't be good as a professional organiser, would it? But we know lots of people who do, right?
Yeah.
We know lots of people who do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we think about that room of doom, and we want to go there, but now is not the time to do your room of doom, because you need to build up that decluttering muscle. You need to start in the rooms where the decisions are going to be way easier. You know, we're in our Declutter Hub membership, we have a roadmap, and we advise people to start with the kitchen, and people are like, oh, but the kitchen's got loads of stuff in it, you know, and we're like, but the reason why we ask people to start in the kitchen is because most of the decisions in the kitchen lean more towards practical decisions, things about dates on things, are you using it, do you need 10 wooden spoons, rather than later on, once we start to get to things like clothes and books and sentimental, we've got to delve, we've got to dig deeper for that emotional connection to stuff. So start in the kitchen. And the other nice thing about a kitchen is that we can break it down. We can go cupboard by cupboard, right? We can do all our pots, all our pans, all our glasses, so we can break it down into that, into much smaller chunks, which makes things easier while we're building our decluttering muscle. So don't be tempted to start in the most difficult rooms first. Even though you want to do it, because it's what's bothering you, give yourself some time to kind of lead up to that. Really, really important, isn't it, Ingrid?
Yeah, we talked about that decluttering muscle earlier, didn't we? And this is exactly when that's really important. It's like going, right, I'm going to go on I want to run a marathon, right? You need to start small. You're going to go, right, let me get off the sofa first and walk around my house. And then let me walk around the block. And then let me walk around half an hour. And then I'm going to try and jog a little bit. And then I'm going to go, whoa, okay, wow, this is like amazing, right? So you build it up over time. Exactly the same with that decluttering muscle. You're starting in easier rooms, you work your way up to more difficult rooms or categories of stuff. That's the reason why in our roadmap, in our membership, we follow that plan. That's why in our book, we follow that plan. Now, if you're thinking, but Ingrid, seriously, I'm going to be a chef, right? That is my aim in life. Okay, you might want to start in the bathroom, right? Because the kitchen is going to be a harder room for you. But for most people that we know in our communities, in our membership, in podcast listeners, we know that kitchens are easier rooms to start. I start a lot with clients in kitchens because it's just, you see a big difference. It's a room that gets used a lot. So you immediately see that space appear, right? That's so important. So build up your decluttering muscle, leave the overwhelming rooms till later. And also, and we haven't mentioned this yet, when you have a very full room, it probably has stuff that needs to go to other rooms. But it can't go there because your cupboards are full. So you first need to make space in your kitchen, in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your wardrobes, in your living room. And then you can go, right, I'm seeing some space appear. Now I can take the stuff from that full room. And now I've got space to kind of go, right, what is this? And actually, oh yeah, this is this new pen set that I bought a year and a half ago, or I got for Christmas or whatever it is. Now I can actually take it all out, have a look at it. I now know where all my pans are in my kitchen, just random example, right? Pans are in my kitchen. And now I can go, now I can take those out. Oh, that's that really nice griddle pan that I absolutely want to keep. But this is now the replacement. But if you start in that room of doom or in that very full room and you find that box with a new pen set, you're going to go, it can't go anywhere. I'm going to put it back. So you're just shuffling, you're just churning stuff from one place to the other and nothing ever leaves. And now that's another term for you, churning. We use it all the time, right? Moving stuff from one place to the other.
You look like you're going to take off on that.
I know. I'm so excited. I can't sit back. I can't sit back.
Look at me. I'm all like chilled.
I'm like this. I'm like
back. Anyway, right. So that's our. And there are many. Trust me, there are many decluttering myths out there.
Yeah.
So that's just 4. We could talk 20, 25. But we just want to end with. Well, I say end. We're here for a little while yet. So we want to move on to organising myths, a couple of myths that are not great when you're organising your home. First organising myth is buying storage is the answer to your decluttering problems.
I suddenly see the whole and you go, ooh, yeah.
I know, exactly. Storage is a tricky one because we want it. You know, we talked before about we want the 10 minutes a day as well, don't we? We so want the end result that we want to kind of forward project and get there much quicker. We want to get to the pretty boxes. We want to get to everything being concealed in boxes. But now is not the time. You know, we're talking about having a lot of work to do in different rooms in your home. We've got a lot of work before we get to the stage of buying storage boxes. So don't be tempted to run out to IKEA straight away to buy the boxes unless you absolutely know what the end result is going to be. We are hopefully, when we go on a decluttering journey, going to let go of a lot of stuff. We're going to reconnect with stuff. We're going to work out, we're going to gather like with like. We're going to understand a little bit more about what we need to store and what the best type of storage is going to be. So we need to do all that work before we buy the storage, don't we?
I know, so tempting, right? So tempting. And it's a question we get a lot, right? Ingrid, Lesley, what do I need to buy to get organized? And we're like, please don't buy anything. Stop buying stuff. We need to focus on that decluttering. Yes, trust us, you are allowed to buy storage at some point, but not yet. Because we first need to declutter the surplus stuff we don't need. Then we need to decide which place is this item going to live in my house? Where is the place? A place for everything in its place and that kind of thing. And then we're going to go, okay, now it lives in this place. I need a box because it's normally smaller items that kind of need to live together with their friends, right? So then you're going to go, you know what, I'm just going to temporarily use a box. Have I got an empty shoe box that I can use? Have I got a bag with boxes somewhere or a cupboard with boxes? Because we know you have them, right? You all have empty boxes in your house. We know this. I was at a client on Thursday. She had them too. So I know they exist. So use those first, those boxes. It can be an empty Amazon box. It doesn't matter. But then once you start to go, right, this room is kind of getting there now. Now I'm going to look at, okay, it would now be nice to get some storage. And then you know what kind of storage you need, right? Do I need bigger boxes? Do I need smaller boxes? Do I like plastic boxes? Do I like white ones with a lid, without a lid? Do I like wicker? Do I like fabric? Then you can think about that. But we see it all the time that people go out, they want to get organized, and the first thing they do is buy storage. They buy the wrong thing, the wrong size, the wrong shape, whatever it is. They buy stuff with a lid when it shouldn't have a lid, or they buy something without a lid when it should have a lid, and all of those things. And you find that out later. That is a later step in the cycle of success that we use in our membership. Storage comes later. Really important. So don't be tempted, and trust me, I know that IKEA is not far from here. I love it. I love it so much. I have lots of IKEA. If I call out IKEA, half my house is gone. But don't be tempted. Wait and go, hold on. Ingrid and Lesley told me I cannot buy storage just yet. Ooh, that sounds much nicer, doesn't it, Lesley?
I can't believe you said wicker. So Ingrid's got this weird relationship with wicker for some reason. She just can't bear wicker baskets. I'm like, what's the problem with a wicker basket? Anybody with me? I'm like, it's not offensive. It's like fine. So she'd be like, oh, you might want wicker. I was like, oh, we're being positive about wicker for a change.
I don't know why that slipped out. I absolutely don't like wicker baskets.
Like it's weird, isn't it? Everybody with me? Like, what's wrong with wicker? I'm like, it's nice. Anyway, so I was I've waited patiently till you finished to pick you up on the wicker. So we're going to end with a blinder, I think, because this is another one. It's a little bit like the put things in a box for 6 months. And there are a lot of people here. We want to make sure that we what's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledge this. We know a lot of people at Home Life and You are super organised. They've got beautiful homes. You love cleaning, you love organising. This is something that makes you tick. And so we want to say some of these things might work for you. What the kind of ideas that we have, as we said right at the beginning of the podcast, where that we work typically with people who are a little bit more overwhelmed with clutter. That's not exclusive. We can work with all different types of people. So some of the things that we've talked about today will absolutely work for you, but some of them will not. And this is one that we see some of our the more overwhelmed people in our community using this strategy that is out there on the internet, on socials, whatever, which is this idea that you turn all the hangers around in your wardrobe so that you then know 6 months later what you've worn. And we're like, that's complex. So for people who are potentially then struggling to get the clothes back in the wardrobe because your wardrobe is so full perhaps, or those kind of things, it's like it's adding another layer of of kind of complexity into something where we just want you to take that item out of your wardrobe and make a decision about it based on, we give loads of like emotions, we get people to work through different things that you might think about. We're giving people pointers about what it is that might keep you stuck. You've got to delve deep. This is not a kind of a superficial decision. We need to go deeper on, particularly on clothing. What is it? Is it gaping? Does it not make me feel good? All of those kind of things. And I think this idea of turning a hanger around and then looking at all the hangers that are in reverse, I'm not buying it.
No. You know what? I think I consider myself quite an organized person. I think, if I'm honest, I could never do this whole 6-month hanger situation. I just don't see that. And I see one of my fellow professional organizers who is also very organized, and she's agreeing with me. It's just, how do you then, I would go, oh my gosh, did I turn that around? Did I not turn it around? How long was 6 months ago? The time goes so fast. Now I need to put a reminder in my calendar to remind me when the 6 months. I'm like, oh my word, this is not work for me at all. I know there are, like Lesley said, super organized people who are like, hanger trick, best thing I've ever did in my life. Go, great, good for you. But I'm like, with the people that we know in our communities that listen to our podcast, we know that this hanger trick is very hacky, right? It's for people who struggle with volume and with overwhelm and disorganization and just super busy lives. When you get dressed in the morning, are you going to think, oh, I'm taking this, I'm going to turn the hanger around when there's like 3 people who need to go to school, you have to rush to get the bus, drive to work, the coffee is, I'm getting tired just thinking about it, you know what I mean? I just don't see it happening. So that's why we really wanted to think, it sounds so good, right, on the socials. Just turn your hanger around. Think these things through. Will it really work for you? When you go through and your clutter is a lot more manageable, there's a lot less stuff in your house, then it's something you could at some point possibly consider. I've not been there yet, and I've been pretty organized for about 50 years of my life. So, but if it works, it works. Hey.
I think really the point of that is, to take it sort of back a level, is really about being aware of where you are on your decluttering journey and what types of things are going to work for you. So if you've been stuck doing the same thing over and over, one of our favourite phrases is, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And so we think maybe it's time to do something different. Maybe it's time to not work on a superficial level at your decluttering, but to really dig deep and to go deeper on that emotional connection to clutter. Emotions first, stuff second is what we're all about. And so once you delve into that self-awareness, once you start being kind to yourself, to understand that this is not an easy thing for a lot of people. Not everybody is good at decluttering and organising their home, and this is something that needs to be learned by building up your decluttering muscle. So once you realise that you need to use different strategies than perhaps some of the more common ones that are out there on the internet, then you're a long way towards achieving your goals. So, Ingrid.
Yeah, I know.
Look at us, and we're kind of on time as well,
I know,
which is like
amazing.
Because we're like long-winded.
We talk like all the
people.
time. I mean, we actually, ages ago, I challenged Lesley that we need to do like a 24-hour marathon on the podcast or something, because I actually think we could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because we love talking, which is kind of fortunate since we're here on stage. But we actually, of course, had to keep time. What we're going to do, so let me just kind of tell you what the plan is here, so you know what's happening. So we're going to now take some questions from the audience. Maybe you want to challenge one of our myths, and you're like, Ingrid and Lesley, I can't believe that you put that in. Or maybe you've got another question you would like to ask. After this, we are going to be going to it's called the Book Nook. It's straight over here because, as you might have known, we have written a book called Reset Your Home. It's all about resets and how you can get on with your decluttering and organizing your home, unpacking those emotions and that clutter step by step. And we're going to be in the book nook. If you'd like to have a copy and you want to have it signed, you can get it there, and we'll be there right after this talk. So, and if you already have the book and you want to, like Tricia here, and if you want to have the book signed, please come along. And we're also are meeting up in the community hub this afternoon at 3. So if you're like, I want to talk to you, Ingrid and Lesley, about these things, come at 3 o'clock to the community hub. We're doing a little just get together for everybody who wants to come along.
We've got cake.
Welcome.
We've got cake.
We've got little cakes. Yeah. So if you're like, I fancy a little cake, I fancy saying hello to Ingrid and Lesley, come along at 3. So let's see where that roving mic is, because there should be a roving mic, I think.
Here comes the roving mic. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we got a thumbs up. Yeah, it's coming. So I don't know if anybody's got a question for us. Lesley, shall we just stand up a little bit? I'm getting a bit like, ooh.
Ingrid says we've got to stand up, so we stand it up.
I've got to sit down far too long.
Has anybody got a question?
Yeah, please. Don't be shy, honestly. Any question. Right, we're going here first, and then I see the lady over there.
So I love your advice about don't delay the decision. You know, don't distract yourself by putting it in a box or on a shelf. Just make the decision now. What's your advice, though, about managing energy? Because that's pretty daunting. Is like, oh, my God, I'm going to have to make this number of decisions about this number of things right now. How do you manage that energy?
I think it's really important, we talk a lot about self-awareness, and that's something that we encourage people to do right at the start of their journey, is to really think about all of the things. Are you a morning person? Are you an afternoon person? Have you felt burnt out before when you've gone hell for leather? Most people are like, decluttering this weekend, 8 hours straight, 2 days, I'm done doing my whole house. Break it down, really, really important. So we need to have that awareness. And so really we need to start from the bottom and go, right, I'm going to do an hour, say, and then if I feel good, I'm going to do another half an hour, say, and then build it up, and then work out when your emotion is, when your energy is lacking from a practical, physical perspective, or when you've got decision fatigue. Because what we do know, and there are loads of professional organisers here in the audience, and I hope that, I'm sure that most of them, we never really do more than 2 sessions a week with a client. We rarely do. Most professional organisers are doing 3 to 5 hours. I'm not saying we never do more than that, because we do sometimes in different circumstances. But we know as professional organisers that our clients are tiring after that time because it's so emotionally and physically demanding. So do what we do as professional organisers. It's much easier as well when you've got somebody working alongside you, because there's that empowerment piece and it's more fun and all that. When you're on your own, it's hard. So couple of hours, like max really, and then build it up. There are going to be occasions where you need to do more, like a garage declutter. You've got to kind of go for it. You can't do it in like a half an hour or whatever. But really it's about building it up and being self-aware.
Yeah. Can I add to that as well? So in our membership, we've got something called success sessions. We do them 4 times a week on different days of the week and different times of the day. And we set a countdown timer for 50 minutes, 50. And we work together. So we all come together in a Zoom room, and I just put the countdown timer on, and just seeing that clock ticking away and other people doing something in their own homes as well is really, really helpful. We've got countdown timers for 15 and 30 minutes that people can use themselves, but we realize that a lot of people, like Lesley said, they clear their whole Saturday and go, I'm diving in. And then after an hour and a half, you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? This is not a good idea. And you are exhausted, also probably because you're not rested enough, you started at the wrong day, you may be a bit dehydrated, you haven't had a proper breakfast because you're like, I'm getting on today, and you kind of dive in. So it's really important to kind of put some things in place to really kind of, okay, not all has to be done today. This clutter has not happened overnight. This is not something from the last 2 weeks, right? It's built up over time. You're going to need time to slowly but surely. This is not quick fix. I know there's another question. So to the lady over there. Yeah, go for it. Microphone is coming.
Sorry, I couldn't see the hand. Hi, mine's also a question to do with the 6-month box.
Yeah.
So if I was to be helping a client declutter a wardrobe and they are really indecisive about a certain item, and we haven't got the capacity to evaluate every single item, would you always say keep it in place, or would you ever suggest having a small pile just to put to one side just for a short time? I agree with you about the 6-month box, but would you ever have a little pile there? We'll just think about that later. Or if they're not sure, or I'm not sure when I'm doing my own, if you're not sure, leave it there.
We're big advocates, actually, because obviously in our membership we work with people, we help people to declutter in their own homes rather than working one-to-one with people. So I think we are very much, if you feel that you're stumbling over the decision, keep it and look at it in a phase 2. So we're very, decluttering is not going to be done in one phase. Like, there are very few people that can go, okay, cluttered to not cluttered. It takes several phases, and by building up that decluttering muscle, and then once you've gone around a whole house, then you start to revisit areas because you feel stronger in that decision making. So I would be like, you're a professional organizer, right? Is that what you...
Hoping to be.
Oh, hoping to be, right. Well, come and talk to us a little bit later about it as well, but you come and meet us and we can chat to you a little bit more. But I would definitely be like, if now's not the time, right, because what you don't want is you don't want anybody being nervous about the decisions that they've made and then having regrets, because as soon as you start getting regrets from a client or yourself, if you're doing it yourself, then that's when you feel out of control. So it's all about feeling control of every decision that you're making. Has to be made for the right reasons. There are obviously situations where we have to come out of our comfort zone a little bit more. So if we've got very full volumes, it's about managing that expectation between what the reality looks like and how much stuff you've got. So it's more complex than that, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah, I would love to add something to that as well. And that might be very helpful for everybody. If you're going through your clothes, don't think, what am I going to get rid of? Think about, what would I like to keep? Now, that sounds crazy, and it is the same thing, but it's a positive way of looking at it, right? So instead of going, I need to get rid of stuff, which is like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to turn it around and go, what are the items that I really like? What do I love wearing? What makes me feel good? What's my favorite color? I love that dress. These trousers look great on me. Get those items out first. Hang them in your wardrobe, however you want, and then go, right, what have I got left? And then you're going to go, oh my gosh, there's that jeans that I bought and I knew it, I didn't like it at all. Oh, that's an easy one. I'm going to declutter that one. And then you're going to go through it, you can go category by category, right? I'm going to look at all my t-shirts now, and then I'm going to look at all my trousers, and first pick out the ones you want to keep. You will along the way find stuff there's like, oh, there's no-brainer, that can go. And then you've got that, I'm not sure about this pile, right? You've got probably a couple of those. And then you're going to go, right, okay, do I need to try them on to see how I feel about it? Do I need to maybe wear them for a day? Or, ooh, tricky situation. Back in the wardrobe. You're just not sure yet about this item. You're going to keep that one. Because, yes, Lesley
Ingrid,
kind of said in between.
I know you're in full flow.
Okay.
We've got to wrap up.
Oh.
So you get the gist of what she's saying, right? We want to finish our podcast and say thank you so much to everybody for being here in our live audience. It's so exciting for us to see you all.
I know.
I've been distracted, so thank you so much. We want to definitely I want to take one of those pitch night people do on like concerts and stuff with their audience behind. So we definitely need to do that before we go.
Yeah. Lucy, can you come up with the phone, please?
Hello. So before we go, thank you so much. We're Ingrid and Lesley, if you didn't know, from the Declutter podcast. Come and listen to our podcast, 380 episodes. We would love to have you in our communities, in our Facebook group, in our membership. And thank you so much for being such a wonderful, wonderful audience today.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Amazing.
Thanks so much for listening to the Declutter Hub podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us in your podcast player so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next week.